All right. Welcome everybody to our is this Sunday? No, Saturday. Saturday Night Live. The better version, the funnier version. No, not as funny. Yeah, so tonight we are bringing in the one and only Chris Grant. He is launching, so he calls it the OA Challenge, an incredible event class challenge, whatever you want to call it. It's sort of all of these things all rolled into one. He does it periodically, about every 3 months or so. He'll do another one of these. I think this is the 10th or 11th iteration of it. So I've been through it multiple times. I was just in the last one. I was in the first one. I think I was in one in the middle there. I think I've been to 3. Might only be 2. I know multiple people who have been to more than 5, which is impressive. Like if you think about sort of the quality of that content. But anyways, all of that to say is he is doing an OA challenge, which is starting tomorrow. So like tonight and tomorrow are going to sort of be the last times to sign up. I'll add a link for you guys here in the chat. And this will also get you, using our link instead of a different link, will get you some free Hustle Buddies stuff. So you get like some coupons to our classes. If you shoot me a message, I might be able to send you some replays from some of our sourcing camp that we just did. But yeah, so Chris is here. We are going to be chatting about online arbitrage and really diving in. Like tonight, it's all free. It's not like haha, gotcha. We're not going to teach you anything, sucker. We want to actually show you guys something that maybe you haven't seen before, maybe you're unfamiliar with, maybe you're not comfortable with. We want to show you some practical and real sourcing strategies for online arbitrage that you can do from your couch, in your bed, with kids jumping all over you, at work, whatever it may be. So yeah, that's what we're here for. We're going to be bringing in Chris here. Let's give him a big warm Hustle Buddies welcome. Hey, how's it going, Chris?
What's going on? I'm enjoying the start to mosquito season here in Florida.
Oh, gosh.
It is wonderful. So
I just did a live video. I have 2 bites on me, just like sitting at my computer. There's 2 mosquito bites I've gotten in the last hour at my own computer inside the house.
I had to go digging through all of the different medicines that you accumulate as a parent to find the itch sticks, and everyone's got their own in their pocket. So.
Yep. Awesome. So yeah, Chris, can you because inevitably there's always most people here know you, but there's always a couple folks who have no idea who Chris Grant is. Can you give us sort of the 1-2 minute rundown, who you are, why are you here, all that?
I think so. So I have been an entrepreneur since I can remember. First thing that I ever arbitraged was in 8th grade. It was pizza. And then after I turned 18, I got my insurance license and I was slinging insurance like a madman for about 12 years. And while I was doing that, I was like, you know what, this internet thing is pretty neat. There's got to be some way to make some money on there. And so I started actually drop shipping on eBay. And, after hours and hours of sleepless nights, I was like, there's got to be another way. There's got to be a better way than drop shipping. And I happened to come across Chris Green and a few other people. And I learned about Amazon and FBA. And so I said, all right, I'll give this a shot. Went out and bought some magazines and flipped them merchant fulfilled on Amazon. Went and started doing retail arbitrage and then got into online arbitrage. And then in 2016, I was like, you know what? I bet people might like it if there's some more content out there to help them figure this out for themselves as well. And I started making some YouTube content. I was helping out in Facebook groups. And then I started building a couple of Chrome extensions. And then we got into some courses because I enjoy teaching. I'm probably not as good of a teacher as a tenured teacher yourself, but I do enjoy it. And now we're here.
Awesome. Yeah, I every time I hear your story, it's like there's another new little tidbit I pick up. Like, oh, 12 years in insurance, man, that's a grind.
I started very, very young. So I was working in an insurance agency from the time I was about 13. And then I talked to uh, there was a company, one company that you had to go to in Ohio to actually take the pre-coursework for insurance. And I was like, hey, I want to take this so that I can take my exam when I turn 18, like on the day I turn 18. And they're like, well, they hemmed and hawed around a little bit. And I pulled out the sales skills and I closed them. And I got them to let me go through when I was 17. And yeah, and then I was, for a while, I was the youngest, I was the youngest person to pass their licensing exams in the state of Ohio.
That's funny. That's real funny. All right, so Chris, there's obviously there's a lot of folks in Hustle Buddies who they might be new to online arbitrage. They might be struggling with online arbitrage. They might be super successful at online arbitrage, but they're like, oh, I know I can pick up a couple golden nuggets. What are some things that you can sort of show us tonight that are actionable? Like, we're not talking like fluff pieces like, oh, it's great, it's easy, it's whatever, but like, let's get into some you like to call it the meat and potatoes of it. Let's show people something where they can like actively like do this tonight. Like, they watch this video and they log off. It's like, sweet, I'm gonna try that today. I'm gonna go make myself $100 finding a product.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you what, I mean, we're going to go to Keepa Product Finder because that is probably my favorite thing. And I've got two things tonight. And there can either be some audience participation or you can just yell out some stuff if you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And let's do the entire screen. There we go.
That over. There
Perfect.
we go.
All right. So everyone probably knows what Keepa is. I know that you are someone who proselytizes about Keepa, as am I, and so are tons of other people. If you're selling on Amazon, you've heard someone say that you have to have Keepa. But I don't know how many folks actually know that Keepa has its own website where you can actually do things. So I want to do two things really quick. We're going to spend the time in the data section. There's a bunch of different sections that you can mess with, but we're going to spend time in the data section. And we're going to go to the product finder specifically because this is a place where you can you can parse the data that's on Amazon just about any way that you want. So in the United States, Keepa tracks about 1 billion ASINs at any one time. And they're tracking prices up and down and sideways and number of sellers and you name it, they're tracking it. All right. Thing is we've got to find the good stuff and get rid of the clutter. And then we need to do that over and over and over again. So the first thing I want to do is I want us to find some potential ASINs that'll fit in with the rest of our catalog on Amazon. And then I'm going to show you how to be able to pull that up with just a click of a button over and over and over again with fresh data, because we know things are always changing on Amazon. Prices are going up, prices are coming down, the number of sellers is changing. And so if you set up a filter in the Keepa Product Finder, what you find today might be different tomorrow. Just because that's the nature of Amazon. And so we want to be able to pull that data again without even having to think about it. And so I'll show you guys how to do that as well. All right. So let's do this. Let's find some ASINs that would fit into a catalog that somebody likes. I know that you like grocery, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's talk sales rank range. What kind of sales rank range do you like when you're looking at grocery items?
I mean, I'll go outside of it a lot, but I tend to stay under 100,000.
Okay.
Generally speaking.
Perfect. Well, let's do this. I like to stay around the fringes a lot of times. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for items that have a sales rank between 50,000 and we'll say 75,000. All right. And that's the current sales rank. And then in the 30-day sales rank, I'm gonna do something that I call creating a corridor. All right, because we want to find some things that sell fairly steadily, but I have to also take into account that Amazon's dynamic marketplace sales ranks update every hour, and things get more popular and less popular, and things like that. So, in the 30-day average portion, I'm going to go 45,000 to 80,000. And then in the 90-day average, I'm going to go 40,000 to 85,000. All right. And now this creates a little bit of a corridor. Okay. But then the other thing we're going to do is in the 90-day drop section, I want to see ASINs where it's been fairly flat sales rank wise, which means, and that doesn't mean it's not selling. It just means it's kind of stable. It's bouncing between, 45 and 50,000, and it's just staying there all the time. Okay. So in the sales rank range, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kind of flip it on its head. A lot of people would put in here, show me 90-day drops between 10 and 30%. Well, that would be where the sales rank is getting worse. I want the sales rank to get better. So I'm going to say negative 25. And then I'm going to go over to the 2 section and I'm going to put in 10. Now, this doesn't make a lot of sense at first because why would I put a negative number first or a small number first and then put a positive number second? Well, we've got to know that in this particular area, when we're wanting things to go up, we need the smaller number to be on the left-hand side. And that's just the way you have to remember it. Okay. Even if it doesn't make sense right now, just remember smaller number always on the left. So, negative 25 means an increase of 25%, up to a 10% decrease in sales rank. Okay. And the 10% is actually a worsening. The negative 25 is getting better. And I know that's hard to understand sometimes, but trust me and follow along here. I promise. Now, Nate, let's ask the next question. What kind of prices do you like to look for in grocery? Are you kind of middle of the road? Anything maybe?
So for this, let's stick to stuff that qualifies for small and light. Let's just say let's look for something like that. So let's do under $12. If it's 12 or less, it qualifies for, well, price point wise, it qualifies for small and light.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll make sure. Actually, Nate, if you want to do this on your end, if you want to look up the measurements for small and light, because I can't keep those things committed to memory. We'll actually make sure that we do the price range, and we'll also look for items that fit the measurements and the weight.
18, 14, 8.
18, 14, 8. And that's inches, correct?
Correct. 14, and less than 3 pounds.
14, 8. And 3 pounds. All right, I've got that written down. I want to take this a little step further, if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. Let's put in here current prices up to $13. The reason I want to do that is I want to find things where people are not taking advantage of the small and light program that we could, quote unquote, tank the price and do better. Okay? So we're going to do that. Now, and we'll leave the 30-day and the 90-day average out of here because we're really worried about the current buy box price. And then in the 90-day drop section, we're going to try to keep this fairly steady as well. So we're going to put a negative 35 or a 35% increase in price to a negative 5. And now what this is going to give us is this going to give us products where the prices have increased anywhere from 5% to 35% over the past 90 days. All right. That way we can stop looking at products that's on a downward trend all the time. Okay. When people tell me that, oh, all I'm ever finding are products that are tanking, I think it's a choice because we can do this. Okay. We'll do Amazon out of stock. I know that you don't mind competing with Amazon when the metrics are there, but I'm just going to say let's forget about them for now, just to make things easier.
Yep.
And let's run down to root category. In the root category here, we'll pick grocery and gourmet food. And we're down to 222 products. We may have to loosen things up just a little bit. And last thing we're going to do is we'll go ahead and we'll put in the dimensions. So we'll do item dimensions. This can be up to 18 inches, up to 14 inches, and up to 8 inches tall. And the item weight can be up to 3 pounds. Now, there's only 13 products here, so we're going to go and loosen some things up just a touch. And by the way, this is normal, okay? You go in, you figure out something, you're like, okay, well, I want to do this. And then you say, all right, well, maybe I need to change things around a little, okay? And that's fairly typical. There's 40. Let's do negative 40 to 10 in the sales rank. And let's do negative 50 to 20. Oops. In that. All right. Now we've got 47 products. Not a ton, but that's all right. We could always loosen this up, or maybe we'll drop some of these out here. And maybe we'll drop this one out as well to make sure we have a few more. There we go, 59. Now let's go take a look at these products. And we can get as narrow or as wide as we want. So if you don't like this, you can do something completely different, okay? Now, before we go on and look at any of these, one thing I want you to know is that when you're on this page, you can go up in Google Chrome and you can hit the bookmark this tab button, all right? And in the folder, I'm going to put this on bookmarks bar, and I'm going to call this grocery finder with Nate. So I know exactly what it was. Now, what I can do is anytime I want to come back to this, I want to come back to this tomorrow, next week, 3 weeks from now, I've got this saved in a folder. And if I go ahead and click this open in a new tab, it's going to open up the exact same search that we just did, so that you can come back to these over and over and over again and look through them. Okay. So that one's super. That one's just a little simple trick. But I've shared that with some people and they're like, they thought their lives were changed. Okay.
Also,
So,
let me add to this. Excuse the interruption.
Yeah.
If you want to then like go back and edit this, so it's like, okay, let's say you're looking at this and you're like, okay, I want more products or less products or something slightly different, but almost the same. If you press the back button on your browser window, it erases everything. So don't press the back button. Press the little button that says advanced filter. It's that second one in that he's hovering right now. Press that. It'll bring you back to the previous screen with all of your stuff still typed in, so you don't have to retype everything. That was one of those like, oh, I wish I knew that years earlier, because I just kept doing that. And like, oh, this is so frustrating.
And you'll see I just made a change here, and I put this to a 20% drop in the 90-day drop section, and we're now at 83 products. All right, so small little changes can yield fairly large results. Now, there was one particular item that kind of stuck out at me at the very first here. All right, and that's this KC Masterpiece Hickory brown sugar sauce, 40 ounces. Okay, it says new here, $7.99. But it looks like the buy box price on this is at $12.88. Now, that's a problem, okay? Because that means that they are not taking they're not getting small and light fees. All right. So we're going to open this up so I can pull up RevSeller really quick. And I forgot to put my license key when I was doing some testing. Now, this thing is actually looks like there's two in the picture. These are the listings I absolutely despise. There's two in the picture here. It says 40 ounces. This is a pack of one. All right. It is a pack of one. So we're good to go here. Now this is at $12.86. Now let's just do a quick Google search on this. I'm sure we can find this somewhere fairly inexpensive pretty quickly. I've never heard of that site. That's interesting. I have to do some research on that one. Walmart, I'm betting that's a third-party seller at $8.99. Matt's Warehouse, that's not 40 ounces. And let's come down just a touch. Oh, look at that. I was spot on. Young Systems LLC is the seller on there.
And generally speaking, guys, you don't want to purchase from third-party Walmart sellers to flip.
Yes. Price Chopper, Hy-Vee. Well, this may be something that needs to be gotten locally, but that's okay because we can make ourselves a shopping list. All right. So if we come here, we can see third-party seller. So here's my rule for Walmart third-party sellers. It's 99% a no-go. If a seller like Adidas came and sold third-party on Walmart, I might be okay buying from them. But if it's LRB Superstore or Nate's Knickknacks, I'm out. Okay. Now here is 18 ounce. That's not the right size. Let's see if we can do 40 ounce. This might be a Costco item or something.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.
Or it could be something that's like super localized, like KC could be Kansas City or something like that. So it's like, it's very specific to that region, which can add to the pricing increases on Amazon because it's hard to find.
Exactly. Yeah, this one is. I mean, we can go to the second page and third page, but I don't want to keep you guys here all night sourcing. But okay, well, that's not a good one. Let's make up a price for this. What do you think 40 ounces would cost at the grocery store, at Sam's Club or Costco for some barbecue sauce?
I think there's actually a Sam's Club for a similar barbecue sauce. I want to say it was like $10 for a 2-pack, so like $5 each.
All right. Well, so let's call this $5. Now, if we look at this right now, $12.86. If we put $5 in there, only 39 cents. So it's not going to be any good. Okay. But if we drop this price down to $12 even, it's now eligible for small and light. And you can see that your profit actually goes up because the fees are lower. Now, this is not something that I would buy and sell at $5. If I get this at $3, I'd be all over this. But that is why you need to know the differences in small and light. And then there's another dead zone in grocery you want to know about. I always forget what the low price is. It's like $14.01 or $15.01 to $16 or something.
Yeah,
like
where the fee thing increases.
Exactly. And then what you can do is you can go through a bunch of these other listings as well. Now, dry milk powder, this one looks to me to be a private label product. So I'm probably going to just skip right over this. If we look at new offer count, 2 new offer counts, and these are private label pictures. All right. So we're going to pass over that one. Black rice premium product, $9.99. Let's take a look at this one here. That one might be private
Thank you,
label
Randy.
as well.
Yeah, 1501 to 1624 is the dead zone.
There's so many of these numbers that we have to remember that I can't keep them straight. Now, let's take a look at this one. This one, a lot of people would be like, you know what? I'm not really interested in this, but this is a 4.25 ounce bag. It's one bag. These you could probably get at the Dollar Tree for $1. Okay. And it might be something that you would never source otherwise because it is so cheap. All right. But if we can get this for, not even at $1, it's not going to be profitable. So we're going to pass on that. See if we can find something else here. Milk candy. This would be a good one if you can get it at a buy one get one free sale at say Publix. Or Kroger 10 for 10 sale if Kroger is more your speed. Let's look at this one here. This is one of those. These are going to be about $3.99 in the store. Last time I bought chips anyway, that's about what I remember it being. Now, this one's not great for sending into Amazon because they're typically fairly short dated. All right. But we can see here, and sure enough, these are all FBM, but these are at $12.40. If you could FBA these would be eligible for small and light. We're going to pass on that because it's not a good example. Let's take a look at this one. Fody Food Company Salsa. Let's Dance Mild. Let's go ahead and just search this. This one's got kind of a funky name, but it doesn't look like. Let's Dance Mild Salsa. Let's pull this up. So we've got this $4.89 at Vita Cost. It's 16 ounces, easy to digest, easy to love. I've never heard of a salsa that's not easy to digest when it's just chopped up vegetables, but that's their tagline. So this one's at $4.89. Now, this one also is buy one, get one 25% off household and family essentials. I don't know if they count this as a household and family essential item. There's also an email perk of get 20% off. VitaCost is really easy to get discounts on. They're running them all the time. So I'm going to say that this 20% off code is probably good without, boring everybody with putting this in a cart and all that. So we're looking at $4.89. Let's go ahead and pull this up on Amazon here. And this thing is at $6.79 from Whole Foods Market, $9.95 delivery. Now, I'll tell you what, this is kind of one of those weird ones because it looks like the picture is a little off. For me, it doesn't really scare me too much because I can see that it's an exact match, and just the label has changed, and that happens all the time in the food section, all the time. It's at $12.13, and if we look at these other offers here, we can see that this person here is charging $12.13. So either they let their repricer make a mistake, or they don't know about small and light. Okay, so with these types of products, a lot of people will skip over them and they'll say, oh, well, Whole Foods is on it. Well, here's the thing. Not everyone lives near a Whole Foods. All right. Nate and I do because we live in a very populated metropolis in the Orlando area. But I know that I have some family who live a little bit farther out in the boonies, and they don't get this kind of delivery. So they then buy these items from third-party sellers. And I can guarantee that you'll see here the offer count is going down very nicely. While the review count is moving up and to the right, this item is moving. And you can see that someone did price it properly at $10.87, but now that the number of offers has come down, it's come up a little bit. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this down to $12. And then we're going to be able to get this for $4.89. And there was a 20% off discount there. So we're going to multiply it by 0.8. That means we can get this for $3.91. As long as it stays at that price, we're looking at $2.42. This is glass, so you're going to have some extra prep and things like that. It's going to cut into that a little bit. You're going to have some inbound shipping, which I don't take into account right now when I'm doing these kind of things because everyone's inbound shipping is going to be different. But I would imagine that you could, if you're prepping yourself, you should probably be able to get this into Amazon and still be able to make about $2 at the $12 mark. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but if you can do this across 50, 60, 100 different small and light ASINs, you're going to be making a fairly decent income off of that. Okay. And then, of course, you don't have to just stick to small and light. You can find, if you want to sell high-priced groceries, there are groceries that sell for $50 to $75, and people pay for them all the time. Yeah.
And like if you think about the big picture here too, like, okay, $2, I don't care about $2. I'm not going to sell anything if it only makes me $2. You sort of have to also think about like the time to money ratio and the longevity of the profit. So when we think about the time to profit ratio, like how long does this take to pack and prep? Well, it does look like it's glass, so you'd probably have to bubble wrap it, or I would probably buy like some ready-made sleeves just to make it real fast. So it's a little bit of extra time, not a lot, but a little bit of extra time there. But I mean, if you're making $2 on them, let's say you sell 10 of those a month. So that's $20 of profit per month. When we were looking at the price history of that, it was relatively consistent. I mean, it almost looks like even it's a tiny bit lower now than it's been in the past. So like, if it's that consistent, then I think it's not unreasonable to think that this could potentially be a replenishable product for 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the road or more. If you can sell this for 10 months, well, now it's not a $2 profit item. This is a $200 profit type of item. So yeah, you just keep adding things like this to your pipeline. We'll use your insurance words here. You gotta always add to your inventory pipeline, your leads pipeline. But yeah, this would go into that replen pipeline of, all right, here's a good product. If it continues to sell, that's a winner. And yeah, like we had to find a couple duds first before we found that. But now that we found that, like don't think of it like a $2 profit item. Think about the long term, like what could that be?
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to try to find one more here, see if we can Canadian food to the U. Oh, these. So these are the kind of things I really like here. Because this is going to be an off the beaten path store. I guarantee that not many people have probably heard of this place. I haven't heard of this place until now. Now we need to do some due diligence. They've taken the time to set up a cookie policy alert, so that's probably a good sign. We'll see if they've got a Facebook page. Looks like that actually might be a share button rather than a link to their actual Facebook page. But they've got one here. They've got a Facebook page. That's good.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So I'm liking this so far. Now, these are $4.67. This is a 6-pack.
Man,
Let's
there's
see.
a coupon on their Facebook page. I don't know if you spotted that.
I did not spot that.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Let's go ahead and open this up on Amazon. This could be a really nice one, potentially. All right, so someone has dropped this down to $10.47, so we don't have to worry about bringing the price back down for small and light. 6 cakes. And Nate, what was that coupon on their Facebook page?
I saw like a 10% thing flash across. It was something like if you buy more than something, get 10%.
All right, so let's just say we can get 10% on this. It's $4.67. Not going to be a ton of money here. Let's also make sure this is the same original. My French is really bad, so 324 grand. Yep, that looks good. That was 467. Not a ton of money on this. 467 times 0.9, 92 cents. Not a ton of money on this one, but what this does for me by being able to look at this is I've come away with two things here. Number one, I've come away with a potentially profitable product. This item is cheaper than it has been over the past 90 days. 1046, 1047. Someone put it at $9.99, but it was at $10.99, $11.44. It could go back up. I don't ever like to count on that. But if this went up to, let's say, $11.25, it looks much prettier. All right, 39% ROI. Okay, but we'll say $10.47. But the other thing that I've done now is I've got an entire new website. I've got Canadian food to USA, and I could go through and I could source this entire thing and hopefully be able to bring some of these things to market. And then I've also got a really cool rabbit trail here. If there's Canadian food to the USA, what other places are selling Canadian food? Now, I know that just down the street from me, there is a Russian grocery store. And I mean so Russian that the cashier didn't even speak to me in English. I just had to, kind of go through a series of nods and give them cash. Okay. So now could we find a Russian food to USA? And I know of an Australian food website that a buddy of mine bought me some Australian treats from. And so what other places can we go and look for similar sites to these? And now just from one lead, I now have an idea to go and fish in a bunch of places where other people are probably not fishing.
Yep, I love it. Yeah, right. You can even, so like with that one, I might even set a Keepa alert. That's something you can do as well.
Oh,
Keepa,
yes.
For those folks who are unaware, you can set a little pricing alert. So like Keepa can send you an email as soon as the price goes above whatever criteria you select. So like say $11 or $10.50, whatever it is.
$10.50 or more in the new category here. And so now if I hit track, and actually I could do buy box if I wanted to. I could do all kinds of different things, but for speed's purposes, start tracking. Whenever this hits 1050, I will get an alert. And now the other thing that we didn't even talk about is we could rabbit trail off of all these products here as well. So look at this one, for example. I've never heard of this particular product. It's not something that's, it's obviously probably Canadian because it's in both English and French. So can we go find this? And each one of these are their own rabbit trails to more and more products. Moon pies from Canada, vegetable thins from Canada. Those are not the vegetable thins that they sell here. And now we have a place to also go source them.
Yep, I love it.
Any questions or anything that I may have missed or things that we should cover?
Yeah, I bet those passion flakies would be pretty good because they're going for $12.50 right now. So if you bump that down to 12, find a good supplier.
Now let's go ahead and do Apple. Let's see. This is what happens though. We start doing this kind of stuff, and then I want to find out where I can find these things.
Right.
So we've got. Looks like. Oh, hey, look at that. Look who pops up again. $467 for that thing. And the other thing that I noticed here is the brand's website comes up. So the one thing I might do here personally is they've got a where to buy button. And so they're going to tell us some other places. Amazon Canada, Maxi. If you're in, they're on Walmart, Metro, IGA. These are going to be Canadian stores. But I actually might reach out to them and just say, hey, is there a possibility that I could get this wholesale? And then what other things does this brand have wholesale? So now not only do I have a place to source it, I've got the brand contact information, and maybe I could import this. Sounds a little bit more difficult, but having a little bit of a higher hurdle is never a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, definitely agree. When there's extra barriers to entry, that's usually where I find my most replenishables, if that makes sense. Like they don't really tank as often because people have to go through all these extra steps in order to find it,
exactly,
or to purchase it or whatever.
My favorite sources are on pages 2 and 3 of Google, because the best place to bury a dead body is the second page of Google, because nobody ever goes and looks there.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. That's awesome, man. All right. So any questions about what Chris went over, or I mean, really, questions about OA in general? I know Chris has his OA challenge is coming up shortly. So I think tomorrow is the last day you can sign up for this iteration of it. Starts on Monday. Incredible stuff. Oh, we got a question here. Why don't products automatically qualify? That's a good question for Amazon management. Why don't products automatically qualify and get put into small and light? That's a great question.
The vice president of Amazon retail is on Twitter. His name is Dharmesh. That'd be where you want to put that. I'll give you my opinion though. Why would Amazon enroll your products automatically into a program that makes them less money?
Yeah.
While it may not seem ethical, it's not good business to make less money, and that's my opinion as to why they do that.
Mm-hmm. And then they can sort of play it off as, hey, here's this great new feature that we're providing for you guys, instead of like just giving you more money without making a big deal about it. They can sort of offer it as an answer. Yep. Let's see. Do y'all find it possible to get wholesale deals with random sites like this? I've heard a ton of places are turning down anyone that mentions a word about Amazon these days.
So I've got a funny story about that. I did a podcast with a guy not too long ago who walked up to a person at ASD who had a booth, and they had a big yellow sign on their booth that said "No Amazon sellers." And the reason that my friend walked up to him is because he didn't see that sign. He said, had I seen that, I would have walked right on by. That conversation with the CEO who was running the booth turned into a wholesale account. So when someone says no Amazon sellers, it's not really no Amazon sellers. It's so many Amazon sellers have irritated us that we're now going to put up a gate. And you need to figure out a way to unlock that gate and walk on through. And so find out what their problems are, find out what their pain points are. Don't be a jerk. All right. I get emails on, people will find my blog. I'll write about, wholesale or write about prep or whatever. And these are the emails I get once a week. No lie. Send me your price list today. I don't sell wholesale. And two, that's not how you approach wholesalers and distributors. And once or twice I wrote them back and I said, hey, this is not how you should approach people. And then I quit because I got too many of those emails. So if I'm getting them from an Amazon-based blog, what are how many are distributors getting every single day?
Yep. And like, imagine all the people who are like hiring virtual assistants or like having ChatGPT do that. Like, it's so easy to sort of automate that initial conversation and outsource that initial conversation. Like, hey, just find me wholesale accounts. So you hire a VA and they just send this copy pasted email from wherever, and they just send the exact same thing to 1,000 different people, and then they repeat the same exact list next week and next week and next week. Yeah. So do people turn down Amazon sellers? Yeah. Does that mean you should not ask anyone the question like, hey, can I open a wholesale account, or what steps do I need to, like, no, that doesn't mean you don't try. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, if I wanted to like flip the script and go like 100% wholesale today, I would call first. Email would not even be my first touch point. It would be phone calls. I'd be dialing for dollars 2 or 3 hours a day, looking for no's, because every no is just one step closer to a yes. And I think you could get really, really dangerous. Or if you hired someone who was good on the phone, you could probably open up more wholesale accounts than you know what to do with.
Yep. And I mean, if we put this into a different conversation or a different perspective. All right, so I don't remember who commented that. I'm just going to call you Bob. Okay. All right, Bob, I'm going to teach you this new sport. It's called baseball. You're going to try to hit this ball with a bat. And Bob says, all right, well, I heard that I can't really hit it very often. Am I actually going to hit it every time? I said, nope. Am I going to hit it half the time? Nope. We're going to hit it 30% of the time. It's like, Bob, if you hit this ball 30% of the time, you will go into like the world records for having a 300 batting average.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so yes, you are going to fail. You are going to hear more no's than yeses, a lot more no's than yeses. But step up to the plate, still try it. Reach out to the wholesale people. Find your ways of sort of getting around these doors that people put up. But
absolutely, I love the baseball analogy for selling on Amazon, whether it's OA or wholesale or anything else. I mean, it's a function. Being successful is a function of getting yourself up to the plate to take a swing as many times as you possibly can.
Yep. Let me see. A couple other questions. Someone's asking about like a listing, what's listed under generic, but they're not allowed to add to it, but they can't make their own listing. Sorry, that's just...
Yep. Got to move on.
Move on. Yeah, it's the unfortunate nature of things. It's always been Amazon's rule, but they're sort of now enforcing it, and the way they're enforcing it is by not allowing new people to sell on old listings. That instead of just killing all of the listings that were made incorrectly under the generic branding, they're letting, like, if you have it already, we'll let you sell through your stuff, but new people can't come into it.
Which I was surprised about. I figured there'd be, a couple million dog pages out there.
I almost wonder if like they like looked at that on the back end. We're like, oh wait, we can't actually delete all these listings because that's most of our listings. You cannot source from Temu.com. That's you will get banned real fast. 100% of anything you would source from there would be considered counterfeit if you are reselling it. If you want to make your own private label brand and source from there, go for it. I'm going to tell you that's going to be inefficient. You're overpaying if you're doing private label stuff. So there's really not any situations where you would ever buy from Temu.
And don't buy Nikes from AliExpress or Alibaba, or
don't buy anything from AliExpress or Alibaba for Amazon.
Well, yeah.
Because it's 100% is counterfeit. It's not even like it could even technically be coming from the Nike warehouse. Like it could be the same person. They make a real Nike, they make a counterfeit Nike that's literally the exact same shoe, like 100%. Everything is the same quality, same material, all of that. It's still considered counterfeit because it didn't come through the correct chain of custody. It didn't go through Nike's distribution chain first, and that's the reason why it's considered counterfeit, not because like, oh, it's cheap. It's not like, well, if I hunt hard enough, I'll find something that's not counterfeit. No, that's not how it works. 100% of it is counterfeit because it's not coming through the correct chain of custody.
Yep. And if you do accidentally sell counterfeit Nikes, Nike will come after those people. Yeah. Nike doesn't care if you're selling legit Nikes on Amazon at all.
Let me see. There's been a couple other good questions. Yeah, if you guys have questions, let me know in the chat. Some good chats about the small and light program using robotic shelving. What margins for ROI and profit do you usually aim for with replens? That's what Crystal says. All right, Chris. So what do you think on this one? What are you sort of aiming for? Do you have like a hard and fast criteria? Like I will not go below $2, or I will not go below 20% or 30 or 50% ROI, whatever it is. Do you have rules like that?
So I have what I like to call malleable rules. And the reason being is there's always going to be a good reason to break one of your rules. So I typically like to make a 30% ROI. Now that's different than margin. ROI and margin are two different things. Okay. But I typically like to get a 30% return on my money. So if it costs me $1, I would want to make at least 30 cents. I also typically like to make about $3 minimum. However, I will break that rule. And let's say that I could buy something for $1 and I'm going to make, I don't know, let's say 50 cents for every unit that sells. That's a 50% ROI, but it's a really small amount of money. But I can see that the price point has been rock solid. It never changes. And I know that I can sell a fair amount of volume, right? This is based on an actual product, okay? This is something I was sourcing from Target. I was sourcing, 100 units a week, and Target didn't care because I was paying full price. I was sending it in. I was selling them for, I think it cost $2.50 and they were selling for like $9. And I could just sell every single thing I ever sent in. The margins and the ROI was very slim, but it was really good money and it was really fast money. So if you look at what my ROI on the money was over the course of a year, I might have to spend $250 a month on this product, or let's say $250 a month. But I was able to turn that over so quickly that I never had to put extra capital into it. And I just kept churning that same $250 over and over again. And so by the end of the year, my real ROI on that money was probably 250 or 300%. Okay. So that's the way that I like to think about it sometimes. Have a rule in place so that you're not making bad decisions, but that rule needs to be a little bit malleable for really good reasons.
Yep. Yeah, 100% agree. It's like in the Pirates of the Caribbean, like all the rules are just guidelines, really.
Exactly.
You can always break them. If there's a reason to break it and you know why you're breaking it, then go ahead and break it. It's like some of I'll see a lot of sort of like the Instagram or TikTok influencers are like, all right, never sell anything that doesn't get you at least $5 profit. It's like, well, I'm holding this thing in my hand that's making me $4.99 in profit. Well, the TikToker said, put it down. Can't buy that. Like, all right, I guess I'll give Nate all the profit that I was going to make, but decided not to.
And then those TikTok influencers are selling Prime that they get from Sam's Club at a loss.
Yeah. All right. Let me see. Someone was asking, how do you see the small and light fees? Almost. So this is a huge update. Your seller app now shows it. In your seller app, you'll see 3 tabs. So you'll see a tab that says Amazon fulfilled, seller, I forget if it's seller fulfilled or merchant fulfilled. And then the third one is small and light. So you see it directly in your Amazon app. You will see it. I think you said you have Just
I
use
use
that
RevSeller.
Seller app. Yeah, you use RevSeller. RevSeller will show you. Seller Amp will show you. Ace and Zen, what I use, will show you. If you are using Inventory Lab, which most of us are using, Inventory Lab or ScanPrep, some sort of listing software, they will show you.
Yeah, they
Scoutify
just
2
added it.
will show you. Yeah, that was like a week ago or the past couple days they added that. So really exciting. Pretty much everywhere is showing it in some way now. Let me see. Anything else? Someone's asking for beneficial resources specific to grocery. Really, Keepa. I think I commented this in the thing. If you have Keepa is kind of the universal tool. I love it for grocery because you can search. You can do these reverse searches. Like we could take this Jo Louis, or however you say that brand, that French cookie brand. Like you can do these reverse searches within Keepa. And grocery is so easy, especially like the regional stuff. It's so easy to find with these Keepa searches. So Keepa's like a need to have.
I'll give everybody another little thing you can do here with Keepa. So we found this particular brand here, Vachon or whatever it is. I know that someone is going to be Canadian and they're going to say that I'm way wrong, and that's fine. But whatever this brand is, we can come down to Keepa. We can go to the data tab, and in the product details, you're going to see the brand and the manufacturer right over here. We're going to pull up the brand on Keepa. And now what we can do is, because we found one product, well, now here's another 150 of the exact same brand that we could go and start sourcing. Or, we found this that little cake. What was that? That was a little chocolate cake, right? Yeah, the original. Maybe we could pretty quickly find a 2-pack and a 4-pack, and pretty sure we just did a 4-pack right here. Not quite the same. Maybe it's, different packaging, same product. The original. There's a 4-pack. All right. Doesn't sell nice nearly as much, but this does sell at a lower price is better. But yeah. Now we've got 150 products from that one brand we can go source, rather than, continue looking through dozens and dozens of different brands. My French is stunning. That's wonderful. Thank you. Zero practice. It must be a brain injury.
All right. Any other OA questions for the OA master himself? And let me post this again. So yeah, just another reminder, Chris is starting the OA challenge. It's a 2-week class community course type thing. Lots of community engagement, lots of like give and take, tons of in-depth. And I mean, Chris goes through like basically every tool that OA sellers use. So it's like, let's say it's like, okay, well, I use Keepa and I use Seller Amp. Okay, I don't really use tactical arbitrage. I don't want to learn about tactical arbitrage. That's cool. Chris is going to spend like a day or two talking about tactical arbitrage, but he's also going to spend a ton of time on Keepa. He's also going to spend all this time on all these other tools. So like whatever you're using, you're going to get something where you can use what you're currently using better. You're also going to get crazy deals and freebies on tools that you may not have yet or might not be utilizing yet. It's so in depth. If you guys have been a part of Hustle Buddies, you'll know like I don't really promote much of anything. I think this is one of 2 things I think that I've promoted where it's like it's not something that is sort of under the Hustle Buddies umbrella. Like I own no part of the OAC. Me and Chris were not like business joint venture partners in any way, nothing like that. But it's like this is so high quality that when I took it for my own learning, like my personal business learning, I was like, you know what, this is so good. I'm never going to make a class or a challenge community type thing better than this for online arbitrage sellers. So it's like, if people want to spend 2 weeks and just drink from the fire hose, I'm just going to send them towards Chris because there's no reason for me to reinvent this wheel.
And it's a ton of fun. It's been this is the 10th one we're doing, and it's been rewarding. I mean, you know what it is. You get messages and people are like, oh, hey, this class that I took kind of changed my business, or this class that I took maybe changed my life, or maybe I'm, now I'm a stay-at-home dad, or whatever it is. The amount of stories that we've been able to see come like that have been, I would say it might be the most rewarding thing that maybe I've done in my, other than being a father. It's been one of the most rewarding things I've done.
Yeah, I mean it's fantastic. I have Chris, are you still doing that slap your mama thing?
Yeah, we do have a slap your mother guarantee. So if you wouldn't slap your mama for the information that you get from the OA challenge, we will of course give you all of your money back in the first 7 days, and I'll send you $50 for wasting your time.
Yeah, like literally, I always look for like plan for the best or plan for the worst, but hope for the best. So, all right, let's hope that this listing doesn't tank. Let's hope that this OAC helps me, but plan for the worst. All right, if it sucks, okay, what's my out with this ASIN? Like, well, maybe I can sell at a break even. What's my out with the OAC? Well, I can get all my money back, and Chris will literally pay me $50. Like,
Yep.
If it sucks, Chris is like, okay, I'm so confident that it doesn't suck. I will literally pay you if you disagree.
And I have paid 2 of those out. So there were 2 people who were like, you know what? I don't like the way that you talk or look or whatever it is. I want out, and I want that $50. And so we've paid it out. So we started that guarantee, I think, on round number 6. So out of about 1,000 or so people, we've paid it out twice.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Someone was saying they took it before, they loved it, it was incredible. And can they get a refresher? Yes, there's a pretty substantial discount. Like it's just because there is still like that community aspect and asking questions. It costs a little bit, but it's a pretty substantial. I forget, Chris. You can reach out to people or whatever. But
yeah, just shoot me a message, and I'm gonna send you Nate's link along with a discount code. It is probably heftier than we should offer it discount wise.
Yeah, I agree. So take advantage of that while you can. And yes, they're all recorded as well. So like someone else was like, "Oh, do you do this again?" Yes, Chris will do this a couple times throughout the year, or at least that's what he's been doing. Maybe things change in the future, but so yes, they do happen a couple times, but also it's all recorded. So if you're like, "Man, I really want in, but I don't know if I have got all the time," like, okay, well you can join. You can get some of like the text. You can send questions, things like that through the messaging system, but also you can watch all of the replays and you have access to them forever. So like, even if you can't actively sit in every single one of the meetings, and that's tough. I mean, like I've been in some, and Amazon is my full-time thing, and I couldn't sit through every single meeting. Like there were other scheduling things that came up. So even someone who does this full-time, who can like devote 100% of their attention, basically 100%, even I couldn't sit in every single meeting, because it's 2 weeks, but it's all recorded, so you can always go back and watch the stuff that you miss.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like a lot of people wonder, like, why do you do 14 days without any breaks? At 90 minutes a pop. So that's built specifically for one very reason. It is built to help those who are newer, or those who maybe haven't figured out that you need consistency in your Amazon business. To turn an Amazon business from a side hustle, you got to have consistency, and that consistency can be, I put 8 hours a day on the weekends because I'm not at my 9 to 5, or it could be I work 90 minutes every single night of the week on this. But we do that portion specifically because you need to know that consistency is what makes this business work long term.
Some people were asking, what time are the live events here?
The live events are at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We used to do 4 p.m., and that wasn't good for the folks on the West Coast. And I said, well, we'll move it to 6 p.m. Some people have to work around schedules and things like that. But worst case scenario, those on the East Coast, which is where most folks come from, you can sit down with dinner and watch it on the TV if you want.
Well, that's what EST really stands for. It's the established superior time. Yeah, lots of people definitely worth the money. 100% agree. Someone on Facebook says, anyone who's ever had trouble, like I can't find anything. Yeah, you need to take the challenge. It'll turn the business around. Took it 2 years ago. Set their business on fire. I can't see who said that, but someone over on our Facebook group said
I appreciate
that. Yeah. And a lot of people are like 100% agree, 100% agree. So yeah, it's pretty fantastic, guys. And yeah, all the replays are there. Tons of coupons, tons of discounts that are in there. When you're using our link for that, I'll give you even more like Hustle Buddies freebies on top of it, because like that's how sort of confident I am in Chris's stuff. It's like, yeah, I don't really put sort of the Hustle Buddies name. Like if I recommend something, I've really tried it. I've really weeded out a lot of other options that were similar. This is the real OA challenge, not the faux A challenge. So this is the one that I like. This is the one that's like, yes, this is worth your time and worth your money. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, this person talking about being afraid of Keepa. So yeah, it's fantastic. I'll drop the link here again in chat. Let it go for like another minute or so. See if there's any other last minute questions. And then we'll let Chris and everybody else go along their evenings. We've been here about an hour. It's getting late here in Florida. It's past 10 o'clock.
Yeah, my wife and son might already be asleep. I'm not sure.
Hopefully all of my kids are asleep by this point. All right. So yeah, we appreciate pineapple on pizza. Yay or nay? That'll be our last question. What do you think? Pineapple on pizza,
you go
Chris?
first. You go first.
So on a normal pizza, I'm gonna say hard pass. Like, why would you ruin? I love pineapple and I love like meat and cheese and things like that, but they don't. I think it's weird. Like, I would strongly prefer to eat a pineapple and eat a pizza rather than put a pineapple on pizza. However, I will give the caveat that there are some dessert pizzas out there where we're not using like tomato sauce and cheese and all that stuff. It's like the fruit, and you'll have like a sugary drizzle on top and all that. I can see it working for that.
Okay.
So yeah,
my son, basically, when we get pizza, the only thing he will eat is not a Hawaiian pizza. It is pineapple with pepperoni rather than ham. It's good. It is not my preferred choice. So if there's some laying around, I might have a slice. And I'm also not going to kick anyone out of my home for being, ardent about having pineapple on pizza. But I would much rather have, an everything pizza or, something like that.
Yeah. Well, and I think, the unspoken, the thing that no one is talking about, as all the influencers say, is like, why does fruit salad even exist? Like, why don't you just eat grapes and eat pineapple and eat mandarin oranges separately? Like, they're so good separately. Why are we trying to combine all this stuff and add mayonnaise or whatever? Like, whatever you're adding to these salads, like, just eat them separately. They're so good.
Now, so I grew up on the struggle bus. Okay. Like, it was rough where I grew up. So one of our treats was always that canned fruit cocktail, in that nasty syrup.
Yep.
And that made me never want to have any kind of fruit salad. That was too much.
Awesome. I love it. All right. I don't want to take up any more of your time. We've been here a little bit over an hour now. Chris, we appreciate you coming out. Guys,
thanks for having me.
Make sure, hopefully you learned something, even if you don't sign up. Like, this is Chris's thing. If you sign up for the OAC, it doesn't matter to me. But hopefully we've shown you something here and Keepa, because my goal is to help you guys become better sellers today than you were yesterday. Get 1% better, like what Chris's son is all about. He's trying to get 1% better every day. So get 1% better every day in your life, in your sourcing, in your knowledge of Keepa, all of that stuff. Yeah, keep growing as a seller. Hopefully we've shown you something, even if you're an established seller. Hopefully there was a thing. I picked up, there's little like nuances for how Chris was working his Keepa. I was like, oh, I could click brand right there. I don't even have to search there. I was like, wheels were turning in my head as every time I watch Chris and how he does stuff, or other sellers, it's like, I should do things that way. That's a little bit more efficient than how I'm doing it. So you'll always learn something new, even if you know a lot. So we appreciate you guys being here and coming out, and we will see you later. All right, hustle.